So how did I start in music? I guess when I got a little older, I don't know if I was probably just a little out of high school. I wanted to be a singer. I always wanted to be a singer, and if those who know me, I'm more of a singer than I'm a player, but I am gradually getting better at playing. So I think I auditioned for a band and I didn't get it, and I auditioned for another band and I didn't get it, and I auditioned for another band, and they were all like different bands. I was just basically auditioning to audition because I'm a singer. You need a singer. I'm a singer, but I wasn't what they were looking for. But once I did get in a band, I worked at a fast food joint, and 3 of the other guys that worked there all had long hair like me. And they were in a band together, and they had a singer. And so they found out I was a singer, and they're like, hey, do you want to be our singer? And I was like, I thought you had a singer. It's like, he sucks. So we want to kick him out, but we're looking for a singer. So that's what happened. That's what got me started. So
now that's called politics.
It's called politics,
yes,
right?
Totally. Yeah, yes, that's what it is. There is politics in music.
Right, and just like most politics, it's really stupid because they had never heard me sing.
Yeah.
And they were just like, you're a singer? That'd be great.
There's no common sense.
Right, no common sense at all.
Yeah,
So I ended up practicing with them, and then their girlfriends and friends started showing up to our band practice space, and something changed. I couldn't remember lyrics anymore. I couldn't hit the right key anymore. I all of a sudden started freaking out a little bit. And I didn't realize it at the time, but I had stage fright. And for those of you who know me for years, Kirk Jones does not have stage fright. And I'm a comedian, right? I'm here to have fun. I'm a people person. I love interacting with people. I love making jokes and this, that, and the other. But music meant so much to me that when I started to do it, it was never good enough, and I shut down every single time in a totally different band that I was in. I didn't get kicked out of that band. It broke up, but it was probably because of me. But one of the other bands that I was in, we practiced our set. It was, I think, 90% covered songs and stuff. But we had our first gig at a coffee house, and just like this, oh my gosh, I'm having a flashback. No, it's just like this. It was a dark room with a bunch of people sitting there drinking and stuff. And we got to the first song, and I had no idea what was going on. And so I stumbled through the first song, and then all of a sudden the guy who never sings, the guitarist, started singing like, what is going on? So, okay, that's where we are. And I started to get into it. And then we got to the second song, and I was like, I have no idea what's going on. So one of my friends who was in another band who showed up to support us got on stage and took my mic and finished the set. And I'm not exaggerating. I just sat there and I sang along, but he had the mic the whole time. He had never practiced those songs with me or anything, but he knew they were cover songs, and he just like jumped in and started doing stuff, and it was so awful. And I got kicked out of that band. And they were all like, they were totally confused because we had practiced together, and they're like, oh, that sounds great. I'm not trying to brag on myself. I'm telling you what they told me. You have a great voice. I love your personality. This is going to be great. You're going to be a great front man. And I just froze, and I was just like, I don't know what is going on. And so later on, I joined another band. And basically the same thing happened, but it happened in the warehouse space. We had practiced a set, and then their girlfriends would come around, and I started to get used to some other people being around, and then their friends showed up, and then it was before we had our first gig, they invited a whole bunch of friends to our warehouse space, and I was just like, I had to like look at the ground. I couldn't look in the audience. I was just like, I couldn't remember the words and this, that, and the other. And I even had the words, on a binder in front of me. And I was like, I don't know what is going on. And I got kicked out of that band too. And I actually helped them find another lead singer. And I apologized to them. But I still wasn't really sure that I had stage fright. I was like, what is going on? I just can't remember stuff. but during practice I can remember. So after a while, because there's no way I have stage fright because I'm an outgoing person, but that's exactly what it was. So I quit music. All right, no, I'm just kidding. So I basically quit music, and I would help my friends' bands. I had a little music zine that I would write up and edit and help do and distribute and stuff, and I would show up to other people's things and help promote them, sell their t-shirts for them, all the stuff that I wish I was doing for my own band, right? And I did that, and then after a while, my friends, we all got older and they got married, had jobs, moved away, different things. And then I just sort of got out of the music industry, or whatever you want, the local music scene, not the industry, just the music scene. And then I moved to North Carolina for 4 years, and then we moved to Alabama. I think I was 38 years old, right? So some time has passed. The beginning of that story was I was just out of high school. Now I'm 38 years old, right? I was working as a store manager for Blockbuster in Athens. Am I pointing the right way? Yeah. Athens. And my wife was working at the hospital, working overnight. We didn't have a kid yet or anything, but I would work during the day, she would work at the night. So I didn't see her hardly at all. And if she was, she was sleeping while I was working, and then I'd come home and then she'd go to work and this, that, and the other. And then I was working at Blockbuster, and all the people I met there were 17 years old. I was 38. I can't hang out with these people. It's creepy, right? So I was driving home from Blockbuster. I wasn't necessarily in a depression, but I just felt like, what am I doing? We just left Chapel Hill. We don't live in Florida where all my friends and family are. I'm not making any new friends. And I was just driving home, and I'm starting to get choked up a little bit. So Cool Change by the Little River Band came on, and I was just singing along with it. It's a song that I've loved my whole life. I don't know what year it came out, 73, 75, something like that. And I've loved it my whole life. And I said, when I get home, I'm going to learn how to play that. I had never played guitar. I've had a guitar for years. I remember in middle school, somebody gave me an acoustic guitar. It's like, oh, you want to be a musician? Here you go. I never learned how to play it. I would take lessons and I would go. And I would learn little licks and little parts of songs, but I never learned how to play well enough to be able to play and sing a full song. 38 years old. I've loved music my whole life, and I never learned. So on the way home from Blockbuster, I said, when I get home, I'm going to learn how to play that and sing it. And that's what I did at 38 years old. So I always tell people it's never too late. I know some people like 38's like nothing. When you've wanted to do it since you were 7, 38 is really old, right? And so I went home, I looked up the chords, I figured it out, started to sing, and I did it. It was not pretty, but I did it, right? And that's the whole thing. It doesn't have to be pretty. So I started to do that, and that was the first song I ever played. And I actually remember a couple of nights I would learn part of a song or something. I'd be practicing it all day, and then Mel would get home. Whenever she would get home from the hospital, I'd be like, check this out. I learned how to play this. Just like a little kid, right? Check this out. Just a second. Just a second, I got this. And I would really do that in front of her, because it was like I'd been practicing this one song all night, and I knew it, but the same thing, stage fright happened, even though it's my wife, the most supportive person of me in my whole life, and she's just sitting there going, really being patient, just like, she's like, well, whenever you get it, just let me know. Damn it. So I still had stage fright, even though I'd learned a song. Alabama, I was like, well, what am I doing? I need to figure it out. So I had a friend in Florida who told me he worked at a place in Florida that was for adults with mental and physical disabilities. But he told me about a nationwide organization called the ARC of Madison County. It's the ARC, but there was one here in Madison County. And it was working with adults and I was like, well, I'd never done that before. I'll give it a shot, see what happens. So that was a game changer on multi levels of my life, because working there changed how I looked at things again. I was open to that, I guess, and it changed the way I looked at things and stuff. But one of the coolest things they had was every other Friday they had Songfest. And then once some of the other employees and clients that worked there found out that I played guitar, they're like, oh, why don't you bring your guitar in? And I was like, oh, no, I'm good. I'm not going to play for all these, because there's like 50, 60 people, either worked there. So I was like, oh, no, I'm good. So then finally one day I was like, you know what, I'll bring my guitar and I'll do a couple of things or whatever. And it made me a better musician, even though I was an awful musician already. So they would clap out of time, sing out of key, sing the wrong words, ask me questions while I was playing, pat me on the back, pull my hair, not viciously, but just like, just having fun. So I had to really just like focus on the song, hold this down. Everything around you is just going everywhere. And I'm just like, country roads, take me home. And I just like had to focus. I had to focus so hard to do it, especially when the chorus came up. Everyone, they're like standing right next to me, singing as loud as they possibly can. And I can't even hear myself sing, right? And, but that helped me as a musician to be like, this is how you hold the song down when chaos is going on. But so that changed my life in many ways. We're not going to get into all of it, but musically, that was one of them. The other thing is, it led me to meet Jim Vest here in the front row. His girlfriend, it's not his girlfriend, it's his, significant other. They've been together for years. So she used to work at this same facility that I was working at. She wasn't working there currently, but she still had friends and she loved to come back and see the clients. And so he would come by once a year for the talent show. Once a year we would have a talent show and let all the clients give a shot of singing, dancing, comedy, blah, 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 whatever it is. And one of the years, I found out that Jim played guitar also. And I said, or I don't know how it came up. We were like, we're going to come up with a skit or do something. And we did Long Tall Texan. And I don't know if it's by Lyle Lovett, but that's the version we sort of played for the talent show. And all the clients that were in our skit wore cowboy hats and stuff. And we had hay bales on the stage and all sorts of stuff. But we wanted to practice it. I was like, I need to practice this. I've never heard this song in my life. And Jim's like, all right. So Jim came over, Roberta came over, and they brought one of the clients with them. And we practiced this song and stuff. And it was way over my head. I could not keep up with the strumming. I couldn't remember the chords. And I don't think Jim even had the chords. He was, oh, you just do this. And I was like, okay. And I couldn't remember, but I would do backing vocals and stuff like that. But anyways, we did that. And we had a good time, and we did it in front of everybody, and it was fun. We weren't the star of the show. All the clients were doing comedic stuff as we were singing the lyrics. They were acting them out, being silly. So nobody was really looking at us or, judging us. It was just like, oh, that was hilarious. That was awesome. And then I was like, oh, cool. And then I was like, hey, do you want to get together and jam sometime? It's like, cool. Hey, we should put a band together. What was your answer, Jim?
Probably no.
He said no. I don't want to be in a band. And I was just like, he doesn't want to be a band. I was like, does he not want to be a band with me? Am I still sucking? And then we would get together, we would play, jam, and we would have fun. And I was like, yeah, we should get a band together. And Jim's like, no, I don't want to. I'm outing Jim. Jim had Stage Fright too. And we were both wanting to do this thing, but not wanting to do it. But I was like, I've got to do this. At this point, whatever is going on, I was like, I've got to do this. So I basically was like, yeah, let's just do this, right? And so we got together. He was one of the two pivotal people that really helped me get rid of the Stage Fright. Part of the Stage Fright was when I was playing at Songfest at the Ark. I was just concentrating on the songs and I got it out there. It was great. But once we started playing songs together, it got serious again. And we had another friend of mine that I introduced Jim to, John Slater, who I got together with a couple of times. And he was a younger guy, and he was introduced me to a whole bunch of folk rock stuff that I was too old to even know what he was talking about. Mm-hmm. But I was like, yeah, whatever you want to do. I was at the point I was like, whatever, because I've not done this for so long. I'm gonna do whatever. And so Jim, one of the songs he wanted to do was "Ripple" by Grateful Dead. I hate the Grateful Dead. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I offend somebody? I'm not a really good big Grateful Dead person. This other guy, John, he was like, yeah, why don't we do "Ripple"? And I was like, oh. I was like, all right. So I learned "Ripple." I didn't want to, and then I think we learned a John Denver song. I think it was both of you. Maybe it was John. Country Road.
Yeah.
John Denver. This is the worst. Grateful Dead and John Denver. How much worse could it get? But then eventually the three of us got together and started playing. And then we had another friend who played drums, like a phenomenal, like prog rock drummer, who would play djembe for us. And so we finally got together. But it was really Jim finally saying, all right, we can practice these songs or whatever, and John also willing. John was a guitar teacher, so he didn't need me to play guitar for anything, but he didn't really like singing, so I would sing, he would play. Me and Jim would fight over who's gonna, no, you sing, because neither one of us wanted to sing, or neither one of us wanted to play, actually. But anyway, so that was the turning point musically, was the Ark. First of all, Stage Fright, and second of all, Jim. So me and Jim and John started a band that was called the No Name Band, and we just got together with, like, I think there were 7 of us, and some of us were real musicians. Me and Jim were not. Like, we had the prog rock drummer, and then we had a banjo player who was Alex, who was really good, and he had great vocals too. And then we had Johnny, who came and played harmonica. And then late in the game, we had, you guys, some of you might know Jerry McGuff, right? He used to be the HTMA president here 10 years ago. I don't know how long. It's been a while. But he played upright bass and occasionally banjo. And Ronnie joined us for a little bit. I don't know, maybe I'm leaving some out. But we were the No Name Band because we didn't want to worry about coming up with a real name, because we didn't want to play out anywhere. We just played at nursing homes and stuff like that. And I say just because that's what we were doing, just. But that changes in my life later. And, in hour 3, I'll get more into that.